Welcome to Dev Pirates Radio. This is Dev Pirates Radio, where we challenge us all to push our limits and learn new things. Follow us as we create a game from start to finish, detailing how we accomplish each distinct development task. Contact us at contact@devpirates.com. This is Matt, and with me as always is Pete.
Pete, hi. That's me.
Yeah.
I'm Pete.
And so our current challenge was getting NPC dialogue and music, adventure and music.
Yes, and the dialogue proved a bit more difficult than I thought.
Yep, happens sometimes.
Yep.
Actually, happens to me a lot.
Tell you what, I will show mine first today. I think you did yours last time.
All right.
Okay, screen 2, I think. Sorry. This will be real quick, I promise. So this is a dialogue interaction.
Just one?
Just a single one. Isn't that great? Okay, hold on. Let me show you how it works first. So we already showed you that we have the enter and exit things. Well, if you walk up to this character, you have to be inside the box. If you're out here and you press E, nothing happens. So you have to be inside the box. Press E. Hello, traveler. And then you have these choices of response. And as you can see, the mouse cursor shows up. Hi, do you sell stuff? Or oops, I didn't mean to talk to you. So the top one is to show, hey, we can continue the conversation. Oh, we're out of stuff right now. Sorry. Then you click, whatever your options are, and then you leave. And then your mouse disappears and you can go on your way. Or you can just be like, oh, well, the first one, oops, I didn't mean to talk to you. Let's leave. Okay. Now, we didn't really talk about the display, really, of like how we wanted this to look, Matt, but I think this is kind of what we were going for, was it not?
I think this is kind of what we're going through, but I think it should be at the bottom of the screen.
I could do that.
And we haven't designed the graphics for it yet, but it'll definitely look more polished.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you do. I think we all know what I'm talking about.
This looks great. And I think everyone will agree. So you're talking about this. So Hello Traveler shows up at the bottom.
Yeah. I'm also thinking that instead of going by mouse, it would be by controller.
Yeah, that's just going to require a bit more programming, because then I have to just decide what buttons do what and what happens when you hit certain areas.
That is perfectly all right for now.
Yeah.
We'll get to the refinements later. That'll be its own thing.
Yeah,
that'll be its own task, is refining whatever.
These things will have to be aware of how many of the other ones are turned on. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that just requires a bit more programming, and the mouse is so easy. Yeah, you can do character interactions, walk up, hi, and it pops up. This is a widget, by the way. It just shows up on top of the screen, and then when you click this, let me show you actually. So over here, this is the widget. It's just 4 text blocks. But
remember that cartoon widget?
Yes, but as you can see on the screen, I set all the strings. They're in here. They're all default text block, text block, text block, text block. But they are all bound. If we go into the graph here, I will show you. Oh, actually, it's in the designer. I forgot. Okay, so you click the text block. It is bound to button 1 text. Same with button 2, and this thing is bound to its own variable. Then you have to go into the graph, and you have to make functions that you can call from outside. So this is set block text. This is set button text. They all basically do the same thing. They grab the string and from whatever's being passed into it and set it as that thing. And this is a little bit of logic I have here. So this is enabled. I'm passing through. So that way, when we go to the level blueprint, if these come through as blank, they're disabled.
Nice.
So let's go through this really quick. I don't want to get into the details really, just the important stuff. So we create a widget and add it to the viewport. Disable input is important. Update her animation so she doesn't keep walking. It's still kind of buggy. I need to fix it. Pass in the strings we need and put that into the update text function, which is really where all the hard work is done. And this, you just say, set the text, set the text, set the text. And these are little statements that say, hey, if this is equal to nothing, it's disabled. Or not, if they're not equal to nothing, they're enabled, is how the logic goes.
Sweet. It looks like we'll be able to set up dialogues per character.
Yeah, that's something that I'm looking at right now. So I have this one E thing, and it's like, if you are inside the box, sorry, I forgot to say that. There is a box right here, a trigger, where when you walk into it, it sets a Boolean, which is this: can interact with shopkeeper. Going to work on maybe getting this more modular in the future, but then I just say, hey, if the player pressed E and they can interact with the shopkeeper, then we go down this interaction path. Otherwise, right now I'm thinking we may have to do this a branch for each. So this would be false, and then we have another branch. So I'm trying to find a better way of doing that.
Well, what if we, well, I mean, we can do it later, but I think we would set it up on the character itself.
I see what you're saying. I'll have to.
And then the character would have its own dialogue attached to it.
Well, but my issues have to do with the ability to interact with both the character and you. You can usually do one or the other from one, but bringing it back out to the level is what has to really be done.
Right. So you detect which object is inside the square.
Yeah, that's what this casting does.
Right.
Over here, it says it basically.
And then
runs in there.
And then inside the square, like on the base object of the NPC, like all the NPCs would have it. So you wouldn't have to worry about it not being there. There'd be a dialogue object there.
Interesting.
And the dialogue object would you just call that dialogue object after the cast, and you would just load up all the dialogue, something like that.
Which would kind of look like this, right, for each character.
Yeah, we might be able to set up something a little like a function that would take like a just a text box, just a text thing, and parse that out.
Yeah, because this gets a little crazy, and this is just two interactions with no real complexity.
Right. What I'm thinking is we'll take like the text and we'll parse it out, and we'll have like different objects that do, like each thing would be its own function.
Yeah.
And we just parse through structurally.
Yeah.
And we have to put like some kind of code, like this is the exit one.
Yeah, that's what I've got here. So if you select button 1, you go over here. So right here, this is where we split all the buttons out. This is really just access to the widget, which is up here. This is the widget right there. So you pass it up here to the update text because it needs that. And then you also say, okay, so we really have two buttons with two possible actions. This one says, hey, I want to buy stuff. This one says, I want to leave. If buy stuff, you go over here and basically do the same thing again, where your only option is to leave. And then you run through the leave stuff, which is basically reverse the stuff that we undid before, which is disable input, remove the widget, and make cursor visible again.
The shop stuff's going to be even more complicated, though.
Yes. So yeah, I've been.
But that was not the task for this week. You're not doing a shop.
Yeah. We'll have to do inventory management actually before we do a shop.
Right.
Which could be my next task.
You want to do that as your next task?
That sounds good to me.
I don't know. We don't have very much inventory. We'd have to look at our design doc. But I think
so that we can hold whatever, and then when we add it to the game, it won't be a problem.
All right.
All right. So that is me. Oof, that was rough. All right. It was a big task. Figuring out how to do this was a bit annoying. There's a bunch of different. There was no real clear guidelines on the internet.
Yeah, that's always with the fun parts.
So yeah, since no one else had really done anything like this for Unreal, I feel like this may be a really good one to put up on our site.
Yeah, once you get it all slicked out, you should definitely write a tutorial for it.
Yeah, but right now it's really ugly and spaghetti monster looking.
Yeah, but I'm thinking once you get it to like load from like a text thing from per character,
Mm-hmm.
and you get it to automatically go through the dialogue, like line by line structurally,
Yeah.
then should be able to if you could put that up on our site, then I'm sure a lot of people would appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll just have to decide how I want to go about that. Do we want to limit ourselves to 4 total options?
I don't see why not. I mean, the shop's going to be something entirely different for normal character actions. I don't see. I don't, in this first part, I don't have any more than 2 options for the dialogue on the characters.
Okay. Okay, that's good. So yeah.
So 4 seems like more than enough for now.
So for possibly talking, we will say 4 max. But for buying stuff at a shop, we'll do a custom.
Yeah, we'll do some kind of like item selection thing where instead of like it's like, oh, select which option you want to purchase an apple or whatever. You just click on the apple or select the apple with the controller. I wanted to limit mouse interaction because this isn't a mouse game.
Right. Okay. Oh, and for
but it's perfectly okay when you're getting things to work to use that. So I'm not.
No, thanks. So for inventory, we need to decide what types of inventory we can have and stuff like that. I mean, I can set up one system that we can then move to everywhere else, but it'd be nice to know, like, do we need a different one for food, or do we want to toss it all into one like the original Zelda was?
I think we would want to toss it all into one with pre-designed spots. So like
sections.
Yeah, an item will always go into the same spot. Always. It won't be like in World of Warcraft, you could select which slot you want the item to go into.
Yeah.
I think we'll do it more like the original Zelda, where the item just went into the spot that it was designated to.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it was either there or it wasn't, but it was never like in a different spot.
Yeah, like block number 2 is where rocks go.
Right. Okay, that'll work. What do you got, Matt?
So I have music. And so what I did was I listened to a bunch of adventure in music. And then I made something that didn't sound very much like it at all.
Perfect. Perfect.
So here's the... I don't know how well that comes over.
Yeah, I can hear it.
I'll put the whole thing at the end of the podcast.
Cool.
So if you want to listen to the actual music, you'll have to download the podcast.
Oh, snap.
MFers.
Mother effers.
Probably
because we're so cool.
Yeah, we'll probably make a blog post too. So on devpirates.com, blog.devpirates.com. So I was liking, sorry, let's click on you since yours is more interesting to look at. So I was my process was to try and get some. I actually did try to do some adventure in music, like normal classic adventure in music.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just it didn't flow out for me. So I kind of, instead of trying to go against the grains, I decided to just go with something that I was happy with sounding.
Just be you, man. Just be you.
Yeah. And one of the things I was into recently was like the Japanese drums, and then I put a harp in there. Another thing I wanted to keep was an electric guitar, but I toned down the distortion a lot on it, so it's not as electric-y sounding.
In the
Because you were like, that sounds like crap.
Well, I mean, I think I said it was cacophonous.
You're like, that sounds like crap, and I will have none of it.
I don't know that I said that.
That's exactly word for word. So then I tried to vary it out a little bit. Says it's going to last about 4 minutes. And then that was it. I just listened to it a lot, made a bunch of changes.
And 4-minute song is a lot of work.
It is a decent amount of work. But the beauty with this kind of thing is you don't want the music to be too overwhelming. Because it's supposed to be like adventure in music. It's supposed to be in the background. It's not supposed to be.
You don't want it to overwhelm.
Yeah. So I think I got it. I think it sounds good. I like it. And hopefully that'll help. She's not going to be able to jump that high in the actual game, so.
What, you have a problem with me jumping on the trees?
Well, she might be able to jump that high. She's got to be able to jump over the fences once she gets her boots.
All right, because this is like old games where you can't do stuff until you have special equipment to be able to do stuff that everyone can do.
Right, and like those old games, you have like a fence blocking your way, and you're like, sorry, you can't cross because there's this fence here.
Why is that again?
Why can't I climb over the fence? Because
there's a fence here. Jeez. Stop asking.
Or like those old 3D games where you had like these paltry little things blocking your way, and you're like, I could easily step over that and go to that area.
Yeah. I'm sorry, there's a rock, so you're stuck.
There's this bar that kind of angled down over the pathway. I'm sorry, you can't go past that. All right, so what's my next task?
Ooh, I could use some art for, say, shopkeepers or inside buildings.
All
so
right,
we can start making these more functional.
One or the other. Let's do an NPC art.
I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but that's what I could use to actually put into the game. That's all. Well,
everything that I'm making is going to be used in the game, dude.
But
come on,
it can be put in the game right now.
Come on. Why are you being such a dick?
Because you are what you eat.
Oh, whatever. Oh, I did finally finish. I guess I can show this. I did finally finish all of the tiles finally. Let me go to my sharing options. All right, so these are the beach to ocean transition and the grass to beach transitions.
Nice, nice.
These are the streams. One of the tasks I'm gonna have to do eventually is gonna be animated textures. And so I'm going to have to animate the stream. And when I do that, I'm going to have to do 2 different directions for the stream. One's going to be counterclockwise, one's going to be clockwise, so that I can change the direction of which way the stream is flowing.
Does that mean you shouldn't have to do that twice, should you?
So I'm going to have to do, because this one's going to have to go left and right. Because like if this turns left, everything's fine. But if I wanted to make it turn right down here, it's going to need to go the other way. And then I have to do the bridge ones too. Then this one was the most amount of work. Doing the cliffs. And yeah, what I did was before I did a different tile transition all the way up for these cliff sides. And so what I did this time was I changed it so that I can use these corners as to fill in those spots. I can use fewer tiles to do the same thing, which was what I should have done in the first place. I should have been thinking about reducing the amount of tiles necessary, especially since it's going to look just as good either way.
Sure.
Yeah, all of these and doing the textures, like you can see a texture over here on the right.
Now, how many of those are going to have animations on them?
I'm thinking I'm just going to animate the entire thing.
So
And so
the
like
grass
these ones
and the water and everything?
Yeah, everything's so this grass. I'm not going to animate every tile. Obviously, these cliff ones don't need to be animated.
Sure.
But like I can do like a little blowing leaf grass thing. So when you like look at these things will blow left and right a little bit in the breeze.
Cool.
And then like the ocean will roll up and down, and then this ocean will like wave. But all these other ones, they just won't animate.
Okay, cool.
But I can make them all use the same animated texture just by setting up different frames.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like all of these, like if you looked at the animating texture, you just see all these on the right. You just see like everything animated all at once. But when you look in here, you'll just see like this waterfall will animate, or just these tiny leaves will blow.
Hmm.
And then just this ocean will roll. I think it'll look good. Like the sand won't animate.
I think it'll look good too, but that's going to be a lot of individual animations. I wonder if that's going to bog down.
Well, I think I'm going to go with like up to 8 frames.
Okay.
And it will just be one texture still that's animating. So it's not going to be a whole bunch of extra resources. Because you'll notice that this texture is just one texture for all of these blocks.
It'll just be a bigger texture than you have now.
Yeah, probably it'll be 8 times as big because it's going to be 8 frames.
That makes sense.
But yeah, cool. That's it. We are getting there.
Yeah.
And I still have to shrink the town down and then build around the town doing the level. Still got a lot of work, but I think we're about halfway there. And then polishing.
Yeah. Polishing is going to be a lot of work for you, man. Whew.
No, it's going to be us.
Man, when I'm taking a break and you're doing all the polishing, I'm going to feel so bad for you.
No, it's going to be both.
Oh, okay then.
All right. So for ride news, I finished the final boss and I started working on the cutscenes.
So there is no more gameplay to program.
There is. I have to do level design still.
Meaning?
If that's part of the gameplay. There's no more. I don't have to program anything else as far as programming goes. I don't have anything else to program.
You just need to set spawn points, is what you're saying.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So there's that, and I don't know if that's considered part of the gameplay or not. I would consider it part.
Yeah, I would.
But there's no actual programming left to do aside from a few small bugs.
Cool.
And then, so the plan still is the cutscenes, 6 of them. One of them is going to be kind of biggish because it's going to be the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the level designs, and then the backgrounds, and then cleaning up the bugs and a few other things, and then it's done.
Sweet.
And it's been a long time. Hopefully I'll be done this year.
That's fine. That's a good goal.
I think I like the game. I've played it millions of times.
I think the problem with what's taking so long is just that we've got our time split up among so many different things.
Yeah, I got my time split up among different things. I took on more than I should have. I shouldn't have done so many cutscenes. I should have done like maybe a cutscene at the beginning of the zone and a cutscene at the end of the zone, not once per level.
Yeah.
I think that was major. A lot of my time gets consumed by the cutscenes. And And
Well,
then programming the enemies, that's kind of necessary. And I made the last guy pretty big, I think.
Cool. Lots of programming for that last guy.
Well, a bit of programming, but I made it a little more complex boss to beat.
Nice.
But I thought it was fun to beat him.
So the next one we make, if we make another shoot 'em up like that, is that what you call them, shoot 'em ups?
Yeah, that would be a shoot 'em up.
If we do it in Unreal, I believe that a lot of this stuff would be made a lot simpler since you're doing everything from scratch.
About half the development time would be cut off because I wrote the engine.
Yeah.
And also we'd be able to do it in 3D. We can do it in 2D too, but if we're going to do Unreal Engine, I think we'd do it in 3D.
Yeah, that would be the most fun, I think.
And then I would definitely cut down the cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
And we can use different cutscenes, or we can do like a pre-rendered animations inside of Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
But we can also do their what do they call that? You made one for the intro.
Yeah, just a matinee.
Yeah, matinee, and we could do matinee type things for it too.
Yeah, for sure.
But we could definitely simplify the work down a lot.
Mm-hmm. Like we could have a playable prototype in our first iteration.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We could just use blocks as standing pieces, and we could have a prototype really quick.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we want to do another shoot 'em up so soon.
No, I don't think so.
I would like to make our library kind of varied.
Yeah.
Oh, we have our National Game Developer Month thing coming up too, right?
In November?
Yep. So we have to decide which of our 6 games we're going to make.
Yeah.
So I'll probably start thinking about that.
Will do.
All right. So
Month.
It'll be a fun month. And so that is it, I guess.
Sweet. Goodbye.
Later.